Hello, and welcome to our video introducing you to bill tracking with Take Action Network. Bill trackers generally have four tasks. They create a call to action when a bill starts its journey. They target the calls to action to the constituents of legislators that are on the committees that control the bill's fate at any given time. They follow legislative actions on a bill. And then they update their calls to actions needed to keep a bill moving through the legislature as it goes from committee to committee and from chamber to chamber. Take Action Network automates all of these tasks to make the job of the bill tracker as simple as possible. We'll start by showing a little bit about bills in Take Action Network. To find any particular bill, you just type its name, its number into the search field, like let's go for the low carbon fuel standard bills from last year. And if it's not one of this year's bills, you type in the year. Now, no bills from 2021 are entered as of this recording, so we're going to fake a little bit, but for now we'll just use last year's bills. Do a search. Now look, here's the one called Greenhouse Gases, Low Carbon Fuel Standard. So this is the bill page on Take Action Network that we'll simply call TAN from now on. It starts with a window into the bill information on ledge.wa.gov, which maintains all bill information. So there's something that TAN doesn't maintain about a bill, you can look it up in this window. And then here's the information that TAN maintains. We've got vital statistics, including a bar of where it is in the process. That little question mark at the right can be hit for an explanation of this bar. And then, it's links to the companion information. And one interesting thing about bill information is you get to tell TAN what is the issue for a bill, what's it about. And this plays later on in the automatic generation of calls to action. Furthermore, Take Action Network is always trying to figure out if a bill is dead, so it needs this extra bit called the NTIB needed to implement. If you're not wonky enough to know what that is, you don't need to know what that is. The other interesting thing about Take Action Network is it lists all the actions that have ever been created, all the calls to action for this bill. So here's a whole sequence of them. Seattle Indivisible got into the act, Indivisible Washington 8th, Climate Solutions did, Indivisible Kirkland, 8th District. They were all issuing calls to action to try to get this bill to move. TAN also shows the groups that have opened up a bill tracking page. This doesn't mean they issued CTAs, just that they opened a page they could easily track a bill. Here's the committee it died in, which was the Rules Committee. Well, technically died in Transportation, but the committee's wrong here. But what's important is notice the date that you're getting. Here's the committee. Red is Republican, blue is Democrat. What is their district? How do you email them? Are they a sponsor of the bill? And their phone number. And then later on, we'll see some other rich information as well when we look at actions. So let's create a bill tracking page. The first thing I'm going to do is use my admin link to go to the administration page for Willa. You should have already received instructions for how to become an appropriate admin on Willa. I'm going to go there. And this is what the page looks like. It may change a bit between now and a couple of months from now as we fix the interface, but most of this is what you'll see. And here's where we create tracking pages. Now I faked up the system a bit. I've sort of acted like last session's 5116, the Clean Energy Bill, and its companion bill both exist in 2021. Let's just assume that these exist here. So we're going to go track 5116. There's our tracking page. Tells us what committee it's in front of, and this is the person who opened up the tracker for it, and I am doing this from the little admin page again. So if I click on the number, then it takes me to the freshly created tracking page. Now at the top, a bill tracking page looks a bit like a bill page, but it starts out saying bill tracking page, where a bill page starts out saying bill number. You'll notice that it shares a lot with the bill page. Here's what's up about it. Here's our companion bill for it. And again, we're sort of acting like it's been in 2021. But now notice that I have a couple of choices here. First of all, this is an energy bill. So I'm going to claim this is for averting climate catastrophe. And the other thing we're going to say is that we support the bill, because you can either support it or oppose it. And having clicked support, it now allows us to issue new lobbying action. I don't want to quite go there yet. A bill tracking page has a place for you to enter summary, your discussion, your talking points as well. There's some other fields below here you can't see. They're all along the same ilk. But having done this, now let's issue our new lobbying action. So what we now have is a completely filled out form for creating a call to action, which I'll probably end up just calling actions from now on, where there's only 4 items I have left to fill out: an action name, an expiration date, a short description of the action, and then, the long description of the action where the script goes, the background, the hyperlinks. I want to make 2 points here. The first point is you only have to do about as much work right now as you would do if you had a text-based system where you have to type everything out and create a piece of email. The amount of information you're about to supply is the same as if you did that, but you're going to get a lot of extra features for free for having used a form instead. In fact, we assume you've already seen the video about the 4 features of Actions and Take Action Network, such as personalization, automatic email, results email, and searches. You're about to get all that without doing much more work than if you were creating email using last year's system. So to save time, I filled out those 4 fields while you weren't looking. The action name is now Washington Needs Clean Energy Now. I've given it an end time. Of course, the session doesn't start yet for a couple of weeks, so these are all made up dates. I've given it a summary. To avoid climate catastrophe, we need 100% clean energy ASAP. Excuse me while I fix that. Clean energy ASAP. This bill will get Washington in there, but we need your help getting the bill out of the Energy Committee and over to the Ways and Means Committee. And then finally, I filled out the main body. You can read the script if you want, and this includes a script. Hi, I'm Name from City Zip. I'm calling to urge State Senator Name to support the bill. We need this to happen now. Okay. Now, before I click the Submit button, I want to show you some of the things I'm passing over that were filled in automatically. Now, first of all, you'll notice that there's these question marks, and what the question marks do is they explain a field. So you can always learn more about a field by clicking on the question mark. In this case, it's telling us how these things such as name and city zip and state senator name work. This is question mark is explaining, how teasers should be used. But the important part is it knows that it's Bill 5116, that we want to support it. These were all filled in automatically, and that we're trying to contact the Senate Environment, Energy, and Technology Committee. This way, the constituents of members of that committee are likely to see this call to action. So what I'm going to do now is hit the Submit button. So here's our brand new call to action. I always start out unpublished. It gives you a few chances to iterate on them to make them the way you want them before you actually publish them. And it's just like you saw in the prior video. Here's a committee chair. Here's my state senator, Mona Das. I can send email automatically clicking this button. The script's been filled out. It's been totally personalized. If you are an administrator of the group hosting the action, you have these action links. That's how you operate on it. Notice that the edit action link is at the top. That's what you click to go back and edit the action. You can manage your co-hosts. And it also shows you the committee as well. So in this case, this is showing the members of the Senate Energy, Environment, and Technology Committee. Member names, legislative districts, contact information, are they a sponsor or not, which is helpful to know sometimes when personalizing email. If your legislator sits on the committee, they appear in pink, so that's why Senator Das is appearing in pink here. And it's looking good, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to publish it for all the world to see. It'll get picked up in daily dashboards, it'll appear in searches, Focals can pick it up and specialize for the groups they're parts of. And now I'm going to actually show you another feature, which is I'm going to say I actually took this action. It says, thank you for having taken the action. But now if we go back to the action, it says, thank you for taking the action. But if we go back to that chart, notice it now says that somebody in Senator Das's district has taken the action. One person has. So as people take action and say they take action, this chart gets filled in with the number of people in each district that have actually taken that action, which is good for seeing the collective whole flexing its muscle. Okay, I now want to go back and make a comment about how the script works. So when we look at this, we see the fill-in of name to Daniel Wise and city and zip and the name of the senator. And I just wanted to state what you need in order to make that work. So we go back to our edit action. And then just to see this whole thing, if you push this button, it would fill the entire screen, entire browser screen. But here's the name, city, zip, state, senator name. And once again, those substitutions are explained by this. But there's two other things you need to make it work. One is that the line above has to have the word script in it. And the script itself needs to be set off as a call out using this button. So that's how it knows which paragraphs belong to the script and which don't, is because it's set off in a call out using the quote button. And it knows that it's meant to be a script because the line above it has the word script in it. Do one more thing with the action. Co-host it to my home group. We have these links at the bottom. Again, only admins of organizations who are the host for the action can see these links. But what we're going to do is we're going to manage our co-hosts. And then from there, we're going to invite Indivisible East Side. And I'll invite them as a co-host. Now, because I'm an administrator for both orgs, which is Willa and Indivisible East Side, this co-host goes through immediately. But if I weren't, if I'm asking some other group to co-host with me, then they would have to, on their end, accept it. So if we go back to Let's Get Clean Energy Now, you will notice that it is now brought to us by Washington Indivisible Legislative Action and Indivisible East Side. And then very often there's an action that like 3, 4, 5, or 10 groups will co-sponsor because it's very meaningful and they need something to happen now with it. Because Indivisible East Side is now co-hosting the action, we can go to the website or the web page for Indivisible East Side on Take Action Network, and we look at their list of actions. Here it is sitting right here as Let's Get Clean Energy Now with a deadline of December 14th. So now that we like our call to action, we've published it. And I want to show you the next feature, which is the automatic notification of changes to the status of the bill. So we published our action, and then at some point, the committee has scheduled a public hearing, which it hadn't before. And so what happens as a result of that is that I get some email. And in fact, this email is delivered to my box update email is delivered every morning. And so sometime later, this appears in my inbox that tells me the status of SB 5116 has changed, with a link to the tracker itself and a link to the bill. And the important thing that this has is that here's the change. So it says a hearing has been scheduled before this committee at January 17th, hearing room 1. But we go a bit further than other trackers because this is all built into TAN. It knows what actions you have live. So it says, by the way, the following action on this bill from your organization is still live. Depending on the status change, you may wish to expire this action and issue a new action. And here's the link to the action itself so I could go back to it and possibly edit it. Well, you know, my ask was really that it move out of committee. And so we're not going to pay attention to this. We're going to leave the action as it was, and then we're going to just keep waiting. And then more time has passed, and in the time that has passed since then, another thing has been scheduled, and then I get another email. So this email says it's been changed again, and this time a hearing has been scheduled as an executive hearing in Senate Room 1. And again, I have a live bill. Do I want to do anything about this? And no, I will leave, I have a live call to action. I leave this call to action alone, and I will let more time pass. Okay, more time has passed, and what do you know? Another email has arrived in my inbox a few days later. And this time it tells me the status has changed once again, but now it tells me the new status of the bill is in Senate Committee Ways and Means, which means it has made it out of the Senate committee that it had been in, which is good. It means that they voted it through. So let's go back to our call to action, which has still been live, and now it is time to expire the action, so it's no longer active, and then to thank the people who took the action on our behalf. So what we do is we come back to the action, and we click expire, then edit action, which will automatically give it an expiration date about a minute ago. And then we can tell people what happened. We can say, thank you for your work on behalf of this bill. It is now in the Ways and Means Committee. So this lets people know who took it, what did it. We can do that, basically update our action. So you will now notice that it says the action is ended. And here is the result text that I just typed in. So anybody coming to this action can say, hey, this was a highly successful action. And even one more thing can occur. You may remember from the video on 4 features of TAN CTAs that people get emailed the results automatically. Well, all the admin has to do now is click email results of action to participants, and that text that just went there will automatically be emailed to everybody who claimed that they took the action. TAN sent email to one participant. Participants are people who clicked the I did this button, and now that email has been sent, this is the email that I received. Results of action event, let's get clean energy now. Dear Daniel, and then here's the text that we typed as the result. Thank you for your work on behalf of this bill. It is now in the Ways and Means Committee. That concludes this video, but not all the features of being a bill tracker, for we didn't show you the ways of creating the automatic follow-on action, which is how do we create the action that tells people to contact the Ways and Means Committee. Well, there's an automatic mechanism for that, but this video is long enough as it is, and we will save that video for a different time. Thank you.